Good evening, my name is Katarzyna Nowicka, and this is Poland Daily News. Today, President Andrzej Duda took the oath of office from the new Minister of Interior and Administration, Mr. Mariusz Kamiński. The new head of the ministry will also perform his former duties, that is, the Minister, Coordinator of Special Forces and Secret Services.
President Andrzej Duda stressed today that the new Minister of Interior and Administration is the proper person on the proper post.
Trudno wskazać chyba dzisiaj osobę, która po...
It would be difficult to select a better person to fit this important ministry after Mrs. Witek, the minister appointed 2 months ago, was called to take the post of the Speaker of the House just last week.
Żeby tą niezwykle odpowiedzialną funkcję ministra spraw wewnętrznych i administracji sprawować.
The changes in the Ministry of Interior and Administration were caused by the fact that the previous minister, Elżbieta Witek, was appointed Speaker of the House.
Jest mi niezwykle miło, że z tak dobrych
I am extremely pleased with the fact that I am taking on my duties from such great hands. Our department in the government is in very good standing and does not require any major changes. It seems that since the election in 2015 we were lucky to have exemplary ministers, despite a few short terms of office like this one, caused by other changes in the government. I already met with Mrs. Witek that past Saturday. I already met with the heads of all departments.
służb resortu spraw wewnętrznych.
Earlier, the Speaker of the House, Marek Kuchciński, resigned on the grounds of unexplained flights and being accompanied by family in government airplanes. So far, the changes have no negative effect on the results of the election polls. In the recent poll published on August 13, 2019 for the private news station TVN, the presently governing party should receive 44% of the votes and the opposition coalition 27%.
Zmiany personalne oczyściły atmosferę.
The recent personal changes had cleared the political scene in Poland. Moreover, they had given the governing party the opportunity to counterattack. It backfired at the opposition because now they will have to examine their own behaviors in the same manner concerning the abuse of travel using government transportation. In general, the recent personal changes are very positive.
W własnym szeregu, to jest po pierwsze.
The autumn parliamentary elections will take place on October 13, 2019.
The list of flights of former Prime Minister Beata Szydło was published yesterday. Today, the Chancellery of the Prime Minister was to present a list of flights of former Prime Ministers Ewa Kopacz and Donald Tusk. Meanwhile, the draft law on official flights for the most important people in the country will be published on Friday.
Yesterday, the Prime Minister's office published a list of Beata Szydło's flights, which happened at the request of the former Prime Minister herself. Today, the politicians of the Civic Platform are questioning the lack of persons accompanying the former Prime Minister on this list, or why some of these flights took place in military planes. From over 160 flights included in this list, over 70 are those by military aircraft and several by helicopters. Law and Justice politicians say that the Prime Minister has the right to use military aircrafts. They also state that the opposition is trying to use these incidents to skew the public opinion. The supposed evidence is the absence of representatives from the Civic Platform during consultations recently held in the Chancellery of the Prime Minister, consultations concerning the creation of new regulations governing the flights of the most important people in the country. Even today, the Prime Minister's office is to publish a list of flights of former Prime Ministers Ewa Kopacz and Donald Tusk. On Monday, the Polish Air Navigation Services Agency is to present a list of all head status flights, including those from before 2015. The request was submitted by Law and Justice MPs Marcin Horała and Paweł Lisiecki. They added, Poles have the right to know the standards of behavior of all politicians. This definitely exceeded certain regulations, pretending that new regulations are being created because the previous ones were unclear. If you are decent, if you want to obey the law, then we already had clear laws. Mr. Kuchciński simply did not want to be decent or obey the law.
This attitude is highly unreasonable. I would advise the opposing parties to follow the example of Chairman Kaczyński, who, during the rule of the Civic Platform, when he was attacking then Prime Minister Donald Tusk for everything, and rightly so, stated that he had the right to fly in the government planes and did not see anything bizarre about it.
Yesterday, U.S. President Donald Trump threatened that the United States may withdraw from the World Trade Organization. Trump criticizes the organization because he believes it favors China, while acting to the detriment of the United States.
Trump criticized the organization at yesterday's meeting with employees of the Pennsylvania chemical plant. The US president said that if such a need arises, his country will leave the World Trade Organization. He also claimed that the WTO has been robbing the United States for years and that this cannot happen again. This is yet another case of Donald Trump criticizing the World Trade Organization. Last year, Trump said the organization was treating the United States badly, and in the absence of reforms, Washington could consider leaving the World Trade Organization. Trump criticizes the WTO for, inter alia, the preferential treatment of developing countries. This includes China. According to Washington, the country led by Xi Jinping is using this status to delay certain contracts. The World Trade Organization was established in 1994. Its main goal is the liberalization of free trade of goods and services, conducting an investment policy that promotes trade, and settling disputes regarding trade and intellectual protection.
The storm surrounding Archbishop Jędraszewski continues. During the Mr. Gay Poland 2019 event of the LGBT communities, which took place in Poznań last Saturday, one of the artists pretended to cut the throat of an inflatable doll with the Archbishop's picture stapled to its head. The scandalous performance shocked many Poles, who once again ask where the borders of artistic expression lie.
The organizers of the event are dissociating themselves from the controversial performance by saying that they weren't informed of what the artist would do on the stage. As the organizers of the Miss Lesbian Poland 2019 and Mr. Gay Poland 2019, which took place on the 9th and 10th of August in Poznań, we want to state that we are against hate speech, calling for violence and any other forms of propagating this type of behavior. We wish to apologize to all the people who felt offended by the performance of one of the drag queens during our event. At the same time, we wish to stress that we hadn't been informed about the details of the performance beforehand. We do not accept such means of expression. The competition's goal is to promote positive behavior, tolerance and acceptance. However, not everyone thinks the performance was immoral, as pictures of the cutting of the Archbishop's throat can still be found on such Facebook pages as pridenews.pl. Archbishop Jędraszewski became the target of the LGBT communities after saying in his homily that although the Red Plague of the Soviet Union may be gone from the face of the earth, the world has to deal with another plague, a rainbow-colored one. The question remains whether those who speak about tolerance and acceptance the most can actually follow through with their own words.
That's all for tonight. Now on to Poland Daily Business with Aleksander Wierzejski and his guest. Thank you.
I'm Aleksandra Zarzycka and welcome to Poland Daily Weather. Let's take a look at the forecast for tonight. Temperature will fall to 8 degrees in Białystok. On the south, temperature will range about 10 degrees. Sky will be a light overcast. On the northwest, thunderstorms will appear. Let's see the forecast for tomorrow. Temperature will range from 20 degrees in Rzeszów to 24 in Poznań and Szczecin. We don't expect any rainfall that day. Plenty of sunlight in the whole country. Let's check the weather for the next days. On Friday, temperature will range from 20 to 24 degrees. Rain will appear across Poland. Saturday will bring us more sunlight and higher temperatures. On Sunday, sky will be sunny. Rainfall will appear only on the northeast. Temperature will hover between 23 to 27 degrees. Thank you for watching and goodbye.
Poland Daily Business Edition. Tonight we'll talk about finances in Europe, and our guest is Jerzy Bielewicz, financial analyst. Sir, welcome to the show.
Welcome. Thank you for your invitation.
Let us look at the Eurozone situation. Do we have a recession in that area? After faint growth in the last 2-3 years, the situation is dire in Germany. What will happen?
Tomorrow we would know the growth in Germany, and it would probably be on annualized basis recession, start of recession in Germany. First quarter that German economy would shrink. And it spreads all around Europe because German economy is kind of a engine of euro area economy. It's kind of obvious that it's not good time for Germany. And it shows very quickly, for example, in German banking system. Deutsche Bank troubles. Yesterday there was a news of Commerzbank trouble as well. For example, there is a risk of for Polish banking system because both Deutsche Bank and Commerzbank are present in Poland. And as you remember, during the financial crisis, the foreign bank in Poland were not so eager to extend credits to local economy. We were kind of cash maker for banks as UniCredit, as Deutsche Bank, as Commerzbank, cash machine for those mother companies. And this danger is kind of could materialize right now.
We also look at the situation in Germany with kind of anxiety, because we don't know whether this economic slowdown in Germany, how it will affect our companies and our export to
Don't make mistakes. It's a slowdown, but the starting point is very high. They have almost full employment. There are first signs of increase in unemployment rates. So they have a surplus, both budget surplus and trade surplus. They are sitting on the piles of cash. And everybody would expect in this situation that if they'd like to lead the euro area economy, they should be investing, stimulating economy. For example, Christine Lagarde urges them, the nominee, the head of European Central, future head, urges Germany to invest. For example, the journalists of Financial Times, they signed a petition to Chancellor Merkel that Germany should stimulate euro area economy. But Germany is kind of not willing to do it. They stick to their policy that there should be no deficit, budget deficit, and it's the way it is. They don't care about euro area if we speak true, because that's what they should do.
On the flip side, they want Poland to join European euro as soon as possible. Poland maintains its own currency, Polish zloty. That's currently about a fourth of euro.
Forget it. This would be success of German diplomacy if Poland joined euro. But we are kind of pushing this direction, but we will not do it because we are not eager to pay the bills for the Germans, for other economies which are indebted. Besides Germany, which debt to GDP ratio is 60, around 60, maybe would go below 60 even. We've got Greece with the same ratio at the 170%. Italy, 132% debt to GDP ratio. France, Spain at 100% level. In a recession environment in Europe, there would be a huge tensions in banking system. ECB, which kind of has no weaponry to fight next euro area crisis. So it doesn't look good, but at the same time, you know, the Polish economy is doing very well. The strategy of 3C region and building south-north connections and creating a trade hub in Poland pays off, and we've got very good investment number in Poland. And we are doing very well, comparing even to such a powerhouse as China, because our growth, expected growth, which we will know tomorrow or day after tomorrow, expected growth, in my opinion, is between 4.6 and 5% on annualized basis.
That's amazing achievement, given the Europe grows at about 1 point year to year.
And surprisingly, we are expanding our exports to Eurozone. The exports of Germany is shrinking, but Polish exports, for example, to Germany, is increasing. So
are we still
we are very
exporting
competitive
on the base of the price competition, like labor price, or there are other factors that make our export profitable to Europe?
We are at the right time, at the right location, and our companies are very elastic. I'm not fan of a global economy, of huge international companies. I don't think they are efficient. So our small companies, medium-sized companies, compared to those big guys, are very elastic, and they are very quick to find its niche and expand its presence in Euro area countries. And that's very normal that in times in crisis, some countries are doing very well because they are expanding their economic reach and political reach. And that's the case in Poland.
Thank you very much. Jerzy Bialewicz, financial analyst, was our guest tonight. Thank you.
Thank you.
And that was it for Poland Daily Business Tonight.
Welcome back to Poland Daily Weather. Let's take a look at the forecast for tomorrow. Temperature will range from 20 degrees in Rzeszów to 24 in Poznań and Szczecin. We don't expect any rainfall that day. Plenty of sunlight in the whole country. Now let's check the weather for our continent. On the south of Europe, temperature will range from 32 to 37 degrees in Ankara. In Central Europe and in British Islands, we will expect rainfall and sometimes heavy downpour. More sunlight will appear in Scandinavia, and there we will see a lot of sun. Thank you for watching, and goodbye.
Good day, everyone. My name is Maria Kądzielska, and today on Poland Daily Culture, we are going to talk about unique cultural and educational undertaking, Polish Debutante Program. We have in studio with us Agnieszka Michalczyk.
Good evening.
And Małgorzata Tomorowicz-Malińska.
A pleasure to be here.
Founder and organizer of the program.
Thank you for inviting us.
Thank you for coming. But before we start, let's watch a short film. Ladies, so you regularly prepare wonderful fashion shows of historical dresses and gowns in Wilanów Palace during the Night of Museums.
Yeah, so the long Night of the Museums is a very important event for every edition of the Debutante program. We cooperate with the museum, of course, and we also cooperate with the Warsaw School of Arts.
So how does it look like? Is it like a fashion show? How do you prepare yourself to it? How do you prepare girls?
Show.
Well, the most important thing is we try to teach these girls the appreciation, of course, for the certain period of history, but most importantly, we teach them assertiveness. They should accept themselves, and therefore they have to appear in these wonderful, beautiful gowns in front of a huge, wide public. And that is quite scary.
Even thousands of people are watching them. So it's not an easy task to go out.
So it's a huge undertaking.
Yes.
And what was the topic this year?
Well, this year it was the Belle Époque and the WASP waistline. So it's you know, the Belle Époque, as we know, is quite a very charming period.
Very feminine.
Very feminine, but also very demanding, because these women had to wear corsets which were quite tightly fitted, and therefore they would sometimes even faint, which was dreadful for them. We didn't torture our girls with that, of course.
At least.
Yes, but the dresses, of course, are always not replicas, but they are made according to the all the rules of a given epoch and standards. Yes, and of course, these young, talented students of the Warsaw School of Arts simply give them their own, you might say, twist. Yes, or spirit. Yes.
And how the fashion looks? Can everyone watch it? Can everyone come to Wilanów and watch the fashion, watch those dresses and see the girls?
Yes, because
how long does it take?
Well, our show, it took us about 30 minutes, yes, because it wasn't only a historical fashion show, but we also took all the audience into the epoch. So we had waltzes, we had some scenes, we had small ballerinas who were dancing on the stage. So it was like a fairy tale, I would say.
Or like, do you teach girls how to wear those dresses? Because it's not easy. It's not a regular gown, after all.
Absolutely, and Agnieszka is here the main tutor as far as that is concerned.
But we also have someone who does the choreography, and this year it was Monika Moskwa, a very talented ballerina, and she's also a student of Warsaw School of Arts, and she prepared a masterpiece, I have to say.
And what is important in wearing such dresses from historical dresses?
Well, to walk straight.
To walk straight.
This is the most important. To walk straight
and to smile.
And to smile. So two most important things.
The smile comes much easier than walking straight, I can tell you that.
I see. And right now, is it possible for our viewers of Poland Daily to see those dresses anywhere?
Yes. Yes, because there is a beautiful exhibition in the museum at Wilanów Palace. The exhibition title is, of course, Belle Époque, so our viewers can see the dresses which were exposed during the long night of the museum.
They are handcrafted, which is very important, and you can not only see the dresses, the gowns themselves,
also hats,
but also all the accessories. So you have headdresses, fantastic handbags, shoes, gloves,
and
jewelry.
What about boys? Is it anything? Do they take part in the show, or is it only addressed to girls?
Well, they do take part in the show. They do. And they do sometimes escort our ladies, especially during a huge event, which is the denouement of the whole program. And that is after more than a year of hard work, the girls are given the chance to participate in a beautiful ball, the debutante ball, which is
the dream of every princess, to take part in the ball.
Well, we have a great partner, let's say.
So do they find princes there, or there are no there's not? The goal of the ball is not to find a prince,
of course,
or is it?
No, not at all. All of them decide for themselves. We do not participate in matchmaking, and we are not at all any kind of reality program. Not at all. So they simply participate in a wonderful occasion.
But they have to dance the waltz. Yes.
Yes. So we have a great boys from the Warsaw University, Warszawianka.
Yes, it's the Song and Dance Ensemble of the Warsaw University, and they escort our ladies.
And they teach them how to dance. Mr. Jan Łosakiewicz, who is the director of the Warszawianka, He prepares the choreography, and then he teaches our ladies, our debutante, how to dance.
Wonderful. So we're looking forward for the preparation or for the next ball. Thank you for coming. That would be all for this episode. And thank you for watching Poland Daily Culture.
Thank you.
I'm here today in the Saxon Gardens at the heart of Warsaw. Since 1727, a public garden, one of the first in Europe. But it started life as something more, the garden of a palace built by the first Saxon king of Poland, Augustus II. A member of the Wettin dynasty from Saxony became kings of Poland. Why were they here? What were they doing? Why did they build this palace? And what is more, what is a Saxon axis? An exercise in urban planning. Join me in Poland Daily History today when we find out more. I'm standing here outside the Church of the Visitation in Warsaw, a building which is significant because it is one of the few buildings which survives from the period of Augustus II. This actually is a church which began in 1728 and was completed in 1761. The first attempt, a wooden church, was burnt down during the Swedish deluge in 1656. They tried again, and that church caught fire in 1695. But this church has survived. And why it's significant is because of its connection with the period and the architecture of Augustus II, the first Wettin king of Poland. And I'm joined to talk about the Wettins and the buildings generally by Piotr Hummel, who is a city guide with Warstep guides. He's also a historian and he's doing a PhD at Warsaw University. Piotr, thank you for joining us.
Thank you very much, Nicholas.
And how did Augustus II come to be elected as King of Poland?
So that was quite complicated political situation, actually. After the death of John III Sobieski, very well-known Polish king. And actually, original idea of Sobieski was to secure the throne of Poland for his son, Jacob. But because of different conflicts also with the wife of Sobieski, who didn't want Jacob as a king, and with a conflict with different nobles, actually they had different ideas for the election. And there were two main candidates for the election as a king. One very important candidate, and at first, which was treated as a probably leader of the race for the king of Poland and Lithuania, was the Duke of Conti from France. So he was supported by the French ambassadors and the French king himself as well. And but on the other side, of course, there were Russians, Prussians, and Austrians, which had different plans for the Polish throne and for the Polish king as well. So they come up even with a Portuguese candidate at first, But later on, they came up with the August of Wettins, so the Elector of Saxony. Yeah, so we have those two candidates. One was from the French side, and another one was mainly from the Russian side.
This appeared in history when there wasn't a throne in Europe for which the French weren't trying to get hold of, all the way back to Louis XIV. They were keen. Whenever there was a throne going, they thought there ought to be a Frenchman on it. So I slightly distracted you, but that's always amused me about the French.
That's true, and that could be even kind of continuation of the French influences back in 17th century, because the Polish queens actually in the rows, like two of them, they were French queens, so that would be kind of continuation. But eventually, Duke of it led to the two elections. Yeah, so at the same time, both Conti and August II were elected as kings. Yeah, but August II was closer. He was in Saxony, and actually just after he was elected, he came to Poland and organized everything for the coronation in Krakow, because the king's coronations were still held in Krakow. Yeah. And because of this, he gets an advantage. And already when Conti came to Poland, to Gdańsk, it was a bit too late. And also August II get more support, and that's how he became the king of
1697.
Yeah, like just the end of 17th century, the beginning of the Saxon period in Poland. So. He was elected as a king with a Russian support from the beginning, yeah. And Russians then were in conflict with Sweden. Actually,
this is in the Third Northern Wars.
Which broke up afterwards, and actually just after there was another candidate for the king of Poland and Lithuania, which came up, and that was Stanisław Leszczyński, who was a Polish noble, and he was kind of Polish candidate of the Polish nobles, yeah. Right. And he was supported by another empire, so the Swedish, Empire.
And this is at a time, of course, when the Swedish were very much.
And it led eventually for the very difficult political situation in Poland, because one of the candidates for the king was supported by the Swedes, and another one by the Russians. So it led to the Swedish-Russian conflict.
Of which, of course, then Augustus II involved Poland.
Yeah, and actually Augustus II carried Poland into the conflict, which was recognized as a huge, then historically, as a huge mistake, because it was a conflict between Sweden and Russia, but actually it was holding mostly on the Polish territories. So armies of Swedes, Russians, Austrian army also, they were all walking through the Polish-Lithuanian territories, and they led to the demolition of the many cities, and Warsaw also. So that was the huge crisis of Warsaw in early 18th century, when the 1/3 of the city population died because of the illnesses and wars. Yeah, so that a huge crisis for the kingdom.
Yes, and so then of course it was, I think, in 1706. Augustus II lost a couple of battles at Klisów and Pultusk, which I think, as a result of the Treaty of Altenstadt, Stanisław Leszczyński, the Swedish candidate, actually became king, and Augustus II had to renounce his throne of Poland.
Yeah, and he renewed its throne eventually with the Saxon army and with the help of Russian army, of course. But it was, of course, it caused another damage in many Polish cities and Polish territories. So eventually, around 1709,
yes,
and later
Charles
on,
when they were following the Battle of Poltava, when Charles XII suffered for him in his career, probably a relatively rare defeat, which enabled, of course, Augustus II, with Russian help, to regain his throne. And Leszczyński was banished once again. Yeah. And we begin the proper era of Augustus II as king.
Because that actually we can say that this first 15 years was a huge mess, and the armies were going back and forth. We cannot even say about the proper Augustus rule. But from 1709, and then in 1112 he regained his kingdom again, and he started to come up with a new ideas.
Yeah, and one of which, of course, is this idea of building this monumental palace, the Saxon palace, creating this axis which all great monarchs like to, some sort of way of remembering rather this great axis of the architectural splendor, which we'll see a bit later.
Hello everybody and welcome back to Poland Daily Travel. We are in the beautiful Campinos forest to the northwest of Warsaw. It is the lungs of the great capital of Poland, the ancient city, and it's an ancient forest. And as befitting being an ancient forest, we have a superior guide, Mariusz Morkowski, who is an education officer here in the park. And right now we are standing, as Mariusz was telling me off camera before we started talking to you, folks out there, that this is a special walkway for guests of the park, right? Goście są, tutaj to jest takie specjalnego miejsce, gdzie goście są memorowani? No?
Jesteśmy na Alei Trzeciego Tysiąclecia, gdzie znamienite osobistości, goście tak posadziły swoje dęby. Między innymi 2 prezydentów Polski, a także ambasador Stanów Zjednoczonych.
The ambassador of the United States is remembered here, tutaj. And you shook hands with him, Christopher Hill, right?
Yes, yes.
You shook hands with him. They said hello.
A także dyrektor siostrzanego parku, Campinosskiego Parku Narodowego, czyli parku Indiana Jones.
Yeah, it's twinned. This is very important because this Campinos is twinned with the Indiana Dunes Park, which is in Indiana, northern Indiana. Near Chicago, blisko do Chicago, tak?
Tak, także tamten park jest blisko Chicago, a Campinoski jest blisko Warszawy, tak? Dwa duże miasta i Wydmy.
Yeah. 2 big cities, Warsaw and Chicago, which are also twinned, I believe, and this park, which is close to Warsaw, and Indiana Dunes, which is close to Chicago, are twinned. Shall we continue our walk? Okay. Come on. Yeah. And each of these is just different people who came here, yeah? This is the thing of Indiana Dunes. Is that it? Kto to jest?
Dale Enquist.
Ah, Dale Enquist. Okay. And on jest prezes Indiana Dunes? Coś takiego? Albo
Director.
Okay, this is the director. It's commemorating the director of the Indiana Dunes Park, who came here. Yeah, that's fantastic. Yeah, Poland and America have very close ties. This is just another example. Yeah. Aha, tutaj jest the Skansen, tak?
Skansen.
Oh, fine. Okay, what we're going to now is where Mariusz is working. It's what they call a skansen. It's a recreated village from period. Jak stare są takie budynki?
Około 100 lat mają. Niektóre trochę więcej, niektóre trochę mniej.
Okay, it's more or less 100 years old, these buildings. So, let's take a look. Come on. Okay.
Dzień dobry.
We'll be right back. Stay with us. Give us a bumper. Mariusz and I have a lot more to talk about here in the Skansen. Stay with us for more Poland Daily Travel from beautiful Campinos Forest.
Hello everybody and welcome back to Poland Daily Travel. We've got a splendid series of programs for you, so just sit back and enjoy the ride as we take you on a magical mystery tour through the Campinos National forest on the outskirts of beautiful downtown Warsaw. Campinos National Park was established in 1959 to protect the unique complex of inland dunes and wetlands, the natural plant communities, and the rich fauna, that's animals, and numerous monuments of Polish history and culture. And indeed, there are some pretty substantial dunes, as you will see. So stay tuned, you won't want to miss that. And did you know that Campinos National Forest, which is a UNESCO biosphere, is twinned with the Indiana Dunes National Park in the United States? The park covers an area of about 40,000 hectares. And in the park you will find a moose, a lynx, lots of owls, plenty of deer, and even a bear. Just kidding about the bear. And no wolves either, unfortunately. More than 73% of the park is covered with forests. It's a wildlife sanctuary with over 200 species of birds. There are swamps and forests and dunes and beavers and otters, to name a few more animals, along with pine martens, foxes, polecats, and as we said, lynx. And indeed, you might see a wolf. Campinos, the lungs of Warsaw, 40,000 hectares of wilderness on the northwest frontier of Warsaw. It has history, it has beauty, it has mystery. So you won't want to miss this series of exciting episodes from the Campinos National Forest. It was a lot of fun doing it, and I'm sure you're going to really enjoy it. On Poland Daily Travel, your favorite source for travel information about Poland and the best travel programming about Poland that has ever been attempted, that has ever been done, and that you've ever seen. Stay with us, Poland Daily Travel. Why do we do it? We do it for you.
Hello, everybody, and welcome back to Poland Daily Travel. I'm here with Mariusz Morkowski, and we're looking at this skansen, of which he is the educational officer, as we said before. And this is actually a working well, but it's got a grill over it, as Mariusz was explaining, so that children don't open this and decide to go swimming, which wouldn't be good. But it does have water in it, and it would work. And this contraption here, this machine is very nice. To jest bardzo stare szkoła, tak? Old school.
To jest urządzenie służące do wyciągania wody. Po polsku nazywa się żuraw, tak jak piękny ptak.
Żuraw?
Żuraw, tak.
A, żuraw is stork? No.
Gruz, łacińska nazwa, ale po angielsku...
It's like I know what you mean. It's like a stork that walks in the water. Yeah.
Yeah. Pokażę na rysunku potem, jak wygląda.
I think. You have to show me a picture. I could be wrong, folks. You'll have to check that. Yeah.
To działało w ten sposób, że jak spuszczano wiadro do studni, tak?
So you just lower it in there.
Jak woda nabrała się wiadro, tak? To pod wpływem ciężaru tamtego drąga wiadro wyjeżdżało do góry. Tutaj trzeba było tylko hamować, żeby się woda nie wylała.
Yeah.
A jak jesteśmy w gospodarstwie bogatego gospodarza, który mógł sobie pozwolić na to, że miał ozdobne wiadra w domu i wtedy przychodził z tymi wiadrami i z tych przelewano...
It uses this very carefully so the water doesn't spill, and then they bring another container from the house and pour the water into it. So this bucket stays here, it never moves, as you can see. It's not going anywhere. And this beautiful contraption was, in the old days, exactly what people would use 100 years ago. Yeah.
Jeżeli gospodarz był biedny i nie mógł sobie pozwolić na więcej niż jedno wiadro, to z tym wiadrem przychodził z domu, zawieszał wiadro tutaj na haczyku.
Okay. So if they were very
Wyciągał wodę
yeah, exactly.
I musiał znowu zdejmować i iść do domu.
If they were very poor, they would have to disengage the bucket and carry the water inside. But he says the people who weren't so poor would just leave it out here and have another proper container for in the house. Okay, what's next? Co robimy następne? Tutaj?
Może zapraszam do stodoły, tak?
No, let's go to the barn, he says. Zapraszamy do stodoła, tak?
Stodoła, tak.
Stodoła, that's barn in Polish.